This morning, Invest 91L has formed in um, the Caribbean Sea at this point. The storm, of course, the remnants of Agatha from earlier this week now reorganizing rather rapidly in this general area that you can see developing as of early this morning. The storm has now moved across the Yucatan Peninsula inside the Western Caribbean Sea. You can see that area of rotation. This is where our low pressure center here right now is, according to the National Hurricane Center. Uh, and that's where we have our system. Most convection remains to the eastern most of the storm, which is over those warmer waters. Of course, wind shear continuing to push that convection and going to continue to do so, pushing that to eastern most side. We still have circulation, right? With this system, you can clearly see here winds going eastward, moving back to the west on this side, so we still have that at least a broad area of circulation, and then more concentrated right here, of course, where we currently have that low pressure center. Looking at this, we can see convection starting to blow back up since yesterday. National Hurricane Center giving us I believe 70 and 80% chance right now. We're running with a 70% chance right now at last news. So we're about the same as National Hurricane Center. And if you look at the IR imagery, you can see that convection is continuing to blow up over the system. It's been struggling, of course, over the last couple hours to trying to maintain some of that convection over the center, and it has not been able to do so as much as anticipated, and that's really due to that wind shear. We still have a lot of convection on the east of the storm, but compared to that low level center right here, we're not seeing as much convection, and that's likely gonna continue to be that way over the next couple of days until potential landfall, if it does develop in Florida. Here's National Hurricane Center outlook. Of course, we have also that area. Here's what they have doing for that system right here. Obviously, moving over Florida, which is what is expected to happen. Conditions are somewhat favorable. We have strong wind shear, so likely lopsided storm, likely not a strong storm around 50 mile per hour, but we are going to be very, very large amount of rainfalls are going to be associated with this system over the next couple of days. Impact for Florida, Western Cuba, in around 5 days is where that's expected. You can see that storm right here. Of course, most of that moisture concentrated to the eastern side of the system. Wind shear is going to be remaining an issue. Like I've said before, it is highly unfavorable for development right now. Last time I checked, it was around 60 knots. It might have gone down slightly. So as you can see right now, it does have that pocket right here of a little bit of favorable wind shear around 5 to 10 knots south of it. But really, where most of the storm is located, we are seeing stronger wind shear. As we're going to be seeing this storm move through, it's not going to drop a whole lot, maybe by a little. But of course, it's going to be definitely not in the most favorable conditions. Dry air, you can see where that dry air is located. Here's that dry air pocket in the northern Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be moving a little bit more this way. As the storm progresses, we're going to see that dryer start to move a little bit more out, which is going to allow for maybe some development as it runs through towards Florida. But we're still going to have, if the storm moves through that area I just drew, most of our impacts are going to be on the southern and eastern side of the storm. And that's just due to that, obviously, drier to the north of the storm, wind shear, pushing that convection to the east. We're really going to be seeing most of the impacts on the eastern and southern side of the storm, with likely an exposed center or dry northwestern quadrant with the system, which means we're not going to be seeing extreme development. We're not going to be seeing this develop into a hurricane. Most likely, we're going to be seeing this maybe 60 mile per hour at most, likely around 50 with this system. Now, keep it in mind, with a storm, rainfall isn't always, or wind isn't always the major thing. We always have rainfall that is a major problem with this system, and that's gonna be a problem with this one as well. Here's that latest imagery on this one here. You can see that storm again, looking fairly well on this imagery right here. We can see the same thing we've been talking about. Here are also those remnants of Agatha continuing to kind of spin around here for some reason. We still have a bit of a circulation kind of remaining here a little bit, which is rather interesting as Agatha really came through here and we saw that jump of convection over on this side. And really what happened with this is we saw the storm arrive around here yesterday, and a lot of that convection started kind of redeveloping over the Yucatan Peninsula and over those warmer waters. And so we saw that low pressure basically jump across into the western um, Caribbean Sea, and we still have again some of that energy and spin left over here, and you can really see that on those last couple frames, which is rather interesting, and we'll see how that does develop in contact with our disturbance named 91L, of course. That's all I have for right now. Of course, pay attention, southern Florida and westernmost Cuba for potential impacts over the next couple of days.